Hi, everyone, and welcome to Conscious Conversations with Alexandria and Daren, where our intent is to help you raise your frequency and just be your very best person. Because if you're tuning in and watching us, then we know that you are a way shower, a light worker, a light bringer, a star seed. There's many different ways of describing yourselves, but you're someone who is here wanting to help your whole human family and help raise the collective consciousness. So we just want to delve into these various topics that we feel will be useful for you as viewers and really help you achieve that goal of being like knowing that you're a spiritual being, having your human experience, and how can you really stay in touch with that spiritual side so that you can have more influence, shall we say, over your daily life, because you're creating your reality. So, and intuition is one of the greatest ways of really, really mastering your experience um, by tapping into your inner knowing. So your intuition is how your higher self speaks to you. It comes through, and I feel it in my heart. Although sometimes I hear it, it seems to be on the outside of me, but generally I feel it in my heart. So on our premiere call last week, we spoke about intuition, and I shared a story of how me listening to my intuition prevented me from being in a 40-car pileup
Mm.
on the 401 and in Canada, where I live in the middle of winter. And so, I mean, that was a pretty big deal. But I thought it'd be interesting to kind of flip that and talk about what can be the outcome if you don't listen to your intuition. And I have a really powerful story about that too. Daren, did you want to say anything, or should I just go ahead
Oh,
and jump
beautifully said. Everything you said was beautiful and true and exactly, yeah.
in?
I I definitely am intrigued to hear your story.
Okay, well, let me just jump right in and share then. So I had some sort of respiratory thing going on for the past since the beginning of January. So, and I was quite sick with it. So I was like really like flat out for a couple of weeks, and a couple of weeks that you're another week to just recover. So meanwhile, my partner was fine, and but he was kind of his social life was curtailed a little bit, because of me not like, oh, I don't want to go out. I don't want to be around people. I don't feel like I'm, ready, even though, even when the symptoms went, I still felt like I was fatigued, and I just didn't feel like I was up to being around people. So, but then this weekend came by, and I was like, okay, it's been like coming on 3 weeks now. And my partner wanted to go out to dinner, wanted to take me out to dinner. And I was kind of like, something I would normally love and be eagerly getting up, but I was just like, oh, really, do I have to? Like, oh, I really didn't want to, because inside of me, I was feeling like I just want to hit the couch with my blankie. I don't really want to go out. But there was this low key kind of a local place, and we said, just go there just to get you out, it'd be fun. And so I was like, yeah, my intuition was telling me stay home. My
Mm.
intuition was telling me it's too soon. No, just don't. You don't need to go. Like, you can grab a burger takeout or whatever. Um, but the point was that in my old, I guess, people pleaser sort of came to this surface. And I just felt like he's been so, looking after me and been so good with me and helping it, getting meals and everything else, that I kind of felt like I owed it, you know, to override my intuition and to go out. And so I got myself done up and everything and ready to go. So we get to this restaurant, and we've been there before. It's quite a nice place. We got in. There was a spot right there where we like to be, right sort of in the corner, and we're sitting. The lady came, gave us our menus. We're looking at our menus, and then I just like, I smell something funny. Like, so I'm asking my partner, is like, do you smell something? Like, smells like something's burning. Like, what is that? We're kind of looking, thinking it's something from their kitchen. Moments later, he's looking at me. Yeah, you. There was my coat. They had a candle sort of
Oh,
stuck in the
no
corner. There was
way.
a window sill. So I'm like sitting here, and I just came in and put my coat like on the back of my chair. Normally I don't, but it was kind of chilly right by the door, and I was just kind of wanted it to be cozy near me. And there was a windowsill here, and they had like fake candles, but they also had a live real candle sitting there. And
Oh my God.
my coat went up in flames. I just wanted to show because I just happened to have it out. So this is what happened to the collar. And as you can see, I have quite long hair. Um, yeah, this is the size of my, like I can fit my fist in there. It actually fits like a man-sized fist. And feathers went everywhere. And the smoke alarm went off. And it was a big deal. And it was scary because it was like literally like, oh my God, was that burning? Oh, it's me. There was literally flames. He had to like grab my coat and like put the flames out.
Wow.
Um, I was wearing this top. It was luckily that wasn't damaged, and luckily the hair wasn't, but it was very scary. And and again, my impulse was like, I just once we ascertained that okay, the coat was damaged, but whatever, I'm okay. I wanted to leave. I was everything I took to sit there, and I was just like I was pissed off for one thing because I was like clearly they had been negligent, in their safety aspect of it. Like I should be able to have my coat there without it catching on fire, right? And but the main thing was that I was like, I just wanted to get up and go home. I was like, no, I didn't want to come. And now I want to go, But then I thought, no, let's just, we're here. We'll have, so I had a glass of wine and just sat there and went, okay, so we'll eat. And I had something that later came back and revisited, and I guess I had a food sensitivity. I do have one to jalapeno. I don't know if there was jalapeno. I had fish and chips, which I, shouldn't react to, but maybe there was something in the sauce. And it was just like I had food poisoning. I was up at midnight. I was up for hours. Just my stomach was so upset. And I don't want to give you guys too much information here, but it was very harrowing for me and very like traumatizing for my whole digestive system in general and very unpleasant.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm like, so the next day I'm going, why the fuck didn't I just say, oh, I think I just want to stay home? Yeah, oops, sorry for the language. But I mean, why didn't I just say? Yeah, because it wouldn't have been, I mean, he's a loving, compassionate, partner. He wouldn't have said, oh, blah, blah, blah. He would have been fine with that. But it was me policing me and deciding that, no, you've had enough time. Now you need to get out. Now you need to please somebody and do something because they want to. And that was the outcome. I wrecked it. And this is a Juicy Couture designer coat, by the way, which I've only had for a year. So, I mean, it's a designer down-filled, lovely coat that is no toast, unless I can fix it somehow. I'm not a seamstress. But the point being, you know, I knew beforehand that it was not a good idea to go out. But yet, how bizarre, for both of
You know what
those.
just came through when you said that? When you said the whole thing about like people pleasing and all that kind of stuff, it's like your higher self showed you this because to say, hey, wait a minute, Alexandria, you're denying love for yourself by ignoring your intuition, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so like
and I was.
you had this insane thing happen to you to like then say, you know what? I'm never going to deny love for myself. I'm never going to ignore my intuition again after this
Yeah.
experience, you know?
Yeah, 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 because it was like really, I mean, it was just crazy and so like so bizarre that even like, like it
Wow.
was right there. It could have been my hair. Like it could have, like look how, could easily have got feathers floating around me still because it was just like feathers and everything went crazy. I was like, what the hell? And my angels, obviously, when I see feathers, I think of my angels. So it dawned on me after the fact, after we got home and I kind of got settled and I was like, you know what? If that coat hadn't have been there, what if I had taken it off and put it beside me like normally I do? I don't normally sit on it, that could just as easily I could lean back, it would have been my hair going up in flames, like can't cut, cancel, clear, because I don't want to manifest anything like that. But it was really, really a dangerous situation.
It's
We
so
spent more
interesting that you
writing to them, telling them.
so interesting that this happened, but then like the other situation with the 40 car pileup,
Yeah,
you were shown it that, oh, look what happens when I listen to my intuition.
yeah,
I
yeah,
wasn't involved in that. And look at what happens when I don't listen to like you were shown
exactly.
both scenarios in both situations for like what happens when you don't listen and what happens when you do listen. What could
right?
have happened? Wow,
Yeah,
wow,
it
that's
could have been
powerful.
really, it could have been really bad. It could have been, we didn't even have water yet at the table or anything. We had just come in, she was going to get our menus. So I mean, we wouldn't, it's not like we could have been like dousing, we would, it could have been really, really bad. And I just thank God, thank my angels. I'm so grateful. Like, I'm so grateful, but
That's
again, yeah, it
profound
just shows
though.
you. And this is 25 years later. Like I'm not new to this, like, but it just, you kind of can draw back and you're like, well, I don't want to go, but they really want to. So
Yeah.
therefore, and nothing happened to him. He had a beautiful meal. I mean, obviously he was like across from me, but he didn't have any stomach issues with his meal. He didn't catch fire. He didn't, like so it's like, okay, I'm sorry, and I will always listen to my intuition. I won't ever
Oh,
override it.
that
I'll
is
try never to override it again.
that is so profound though. I mean, like when you can like, I mean, I like just looking at it, like most people wouldn't handle it the way you're handling it. Most people would, well, at least the way that we were in the past. I feel like humanity's moving out of that victimhood mentality and like blaming everything else instead of realizing
Yeah,
it's happening for us and by us. But
yeah,
actually, like, wow, I just, it blows my mind that like just us having this conversation to realize and see how it was shown to you and how the other one was the opposite and how you
yeah,
don't, the disaster that could have happened if you didn't listen, which was the 40 car pileup.
yeah, yeah.
And then now to be shown, oh, wait, you didn't listen, and this is what happens when you don't
Now
listen.
you actually, like, he had to actually come
That's
over. Like I
crazy.
jumped up once we realized, and he had to leave his chair to come over and put it out, like put the fire out. And I was, once I kind of settled myself down, and I was really proud of how quickly I was able to kind of do that. That I made sure that, like, I told the waitress, obviously, and I took responsibility, but I also said, like, it's up to me to be mindful of my surroundings. But just so you know, like, not everybody's going to be. And somebody could get really hurt. Like, they have little kids in there and stuff. Like, it could have been really different,
Oh yeah,
an
oh yeah.
outcome. And she right away was so, but also to have fake candles and then a real one, I think, like, I saw, I I wasn't aware that there was a real one there. I saw the fake, but they're pretty obvious, and I didn't realize there was actually a real one tucked in there with it. So I mean, it was just like bizarre, just like an accident waiting to happen, really.
Yeah, yeah.
But the point of it being, it was all very interesting, and and especially having it disagree with my stomach so much. It's like, yeah, they really wanted to get a message through to me.
Yeah.
you know
And you know what's so interesting too about it is I had not a similar experience, but I had an experience where I was mentioning it to you a little bit before we got on the podcast, and um, how I just was not feeling like myself. I felt very spacey, and it's interesting that this happened to you on the weekend. Saturday was the day I felt
That was me
the
too.
most
It was
calm.
Saturday.
Yeah, and I right away when I got up, I felt like dizzy and I was feeling spacey and like just completely like off kilter. I was just not centered at all. And nothing I did was really helping, but I do know this that I was like, well, maybe I should go to yoga at 11. Maybe that'll help me ground. But then I really listened to my intuition because it was like I was starting to like be like, well, maybe if I go there, that'll help. Maybe. And I kind of was going back and forth about it. And then I'm like, no, you know what? I'm just gonna go for a walk in the neighborhood and then I'm coming back and I'm just relaxing all day. I listened to my intuition because it was like somebody told me this too, that I learned this from a while back, years back, that if you're kind of going back, if you're bouncing back and forth, then it's a no. You know,
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
good.
like
That's
if
good.
you're kind
Yeah.
of like going back and forth about it and you're like, oh, maybe I should go. And then you're like, no. And then like 20 minutes later, you're like, oh, you know what? Maybe I should go. And you keep going back and forth. It's like, no, like otherwise it will be like we've gotten through the community, which is what's the word she uses, Sarah uses, like um
Oh, choiceless.
yeah, if
Yeah,
it's that's not
yeah,
choiceless, that's bouncing back and forth,
yeah.
and your intuition is trying to tell you something, and that's why you keep going back and forth and denying what it's actually trying to show you. And
Yeah,
now,
because it might be inconvenient, and people do that all the time, and it's like that's another way to look at it. If it's not a hell yes, it's a
yeah,
no. But
yeah,
how many times do we do things because we feel obligated, we feel like we owe it to somebody to do something, or just, people will talk if we don't, or whatever, stupid,
yeah.
made up reasons. But really, it's just about how much do we honor that in our own inner knowing. And yeah, it was pretty made pretty clear to me on Saturday. It's
Same
like, well, this is
here.
what
Same here.
happens.
I didn't have the experience you had, but I felt really like my head
Oh, yeah.
so, like, I don't know, I can't even describe it. Today I feel much better. And Saturday was the worst day, and then Sunday it got a little bit better, and then today I feel much, much better. And because I honored myself and I realized, oh, wait a minute, you really need to slow down. Like this weekend is like, take the time to just be. And that's exactly what I really did. I don't, the biggest thing I did was walk in the neighborhood. Other than that, I was writing light language and things like that. But I honored it. I honored myself. And what could have happened if I didn't? And I would have gone around and started calling people and maybe channeling and doing different things with others and stuff. Maybe it wouldn't have turned out as much as it did. But like maybe a scenario like you know,
Yeah. That's something you could not foresee. Like, there's
yeah,
no way I could
exactly.
have
Yeah,
predicted that. In fact, I was just kind of like, oh, we'll just go to dinner, come on. And the whole idea was that, well, it's just very calm, be uneventful, kind of like, okay,
that's
you
one
know.
way to show you. Let me tell you, that's one way to show you, hey, and then you're really like, oh man, I'm gonna honor. And that's what I feel like this year is a big part of, where we're
I think
stepping
so
into our
too.
truth and our power, and we're in Leo season. It's like we just had the full moon in Leo, and we're stepping into the truth of who we are, and the people pleasing is going away, and all this kind of stuff, and doing things for. So yeah, I've heard that before. Like I think that these things you could have never predicted, like what happened to you, is going to happen, just to say, okay, I'm never doing that again. Like I'm listening to my damn ear.
Yeah, yeah. You have my attention now. Like, you got
Yeah.
my attention.
Wow.
It's
Wow, I
true.
could
Like,
never
and
even,
I
that's
I
crazy.
haven't. I'm going to channel and ask my team, the angelic celestials that I talk to, which include my higher self, and I'm just going to get their perspective. But I didn't feel, because that kind of lingers a day or so after. Like, even aside from the coat thing, there was the physical, the rejecting the dinner,
Yeah.
and that was pretty traumatic for my tummy. So, like, pretty much took me a day to recover from that. So I didn't channel, but I will today, and just say, like, okay, so what's up with that? Like, what's the message? Or, but even probably just as simple as, but I really felt like they were working overtime to prevent that from being something much worse.
I
Like, it could
100%
have been so
agree.
much worse.
I 100% agree. And the thing that came right to mind was you're just being shown. You were being shown in a way that it wasn't too traumatic for so many others, but like for you to realize not to deny the love for yourself, and and listen when, and yeah, I mean, I don't feel like something like that's going to happen anytime soon again to you. That's for sure.
I gotta be much more. And so I thought at the time, I thought it was like, okay, being aware of your surroundings, that's always really important. But
Yeah.
like I said, it was almost like this live candle was disguised in with the fake ones. It's
Yeah.
like, hmm.
They kept it consolidated, because it just went up and everything, like
Yeah,
all
but I
kinds.
mean, the smoke alarm did go, and they would have, if they hadn't phoned. Actually, it's funny. The waitress, her husband is a volunteer firefighter, and we had been there a month before, and they had like a party in that whole restaurant. They'd had a, we weren't part of the party. We just happened to be there, and I was like, wouldn't that have been funny if that had happened while all these volunteer firefighters are there?
Oh.
the fire part. But it was nice that somebody else, there was a table like just a little further down, and they had two young lads with them who came up and asked me if I was okay. Like they were so, and I told their mom, I was like, that's so lovely that your children did that. They were so, you know, compassionate and empathic, and just to come and, are you all right, lady? Like, yeah, yeah, thanks so much, and then went back to their table. So, I mean, that was nice too. But yeah, it just
You,
interesting.
you just
Mhm.
brought up so much reflection for me in situations that happened to me over the last few years that now made me even think even more that how I was bouncing back and forth and not listening to the intuition. And I was like, well, I don't know. Like, I want to just give a quick example of one that happened to me that I remember that just popped in my head. Um, I was having issues with my ear, and I think this was like December of 2022 going into 2023. I remember. Think I know it was December, so it had to be like at that time. It was like we were just on the cusp of 2023. And I was having issues with my ear, and I couldn't get into the ear doctor that I normally go to have my ears cleaned. And they were just booked up and whatever, and it felt like some kind of ear infection or some sort. And I kid you not, I remember I went to the primary care doctor, and they're like trying to give me like steroids, and I don't even remember the name of all these different things, antibiotics and everything. So of course I went to the fear state, and I'm like worried about me possibly getting an infection and my losing my hearing. And so I remember bouncing back and forth about taking the antibiotics. And I remember I'm like, no, I don't, I can't, I don't want to do it. I don't take medications. I don't take stuff like that. And I kind of avoid it as much as I possibly can. And
Yeah.
um, I kept bouncing back and forth, and lo and behold, I ended up doing it finally. I just was like, all right, I'm going to take them. I'm going to do it. Screw it. And I was even kind of worried, had a bit of concern about even doing that. Well, so I took it, and I did it for the whole 7 or 8 days. And then I kid you not, probably like a week after or a couple days after, I went to the bathroom and was having blood.
Oh, geez.
And I don't want to go into too much detail, but that's what was happening. Like it was blood. And I went to finally I got into the ear doctor, and the ear doctor was like telling me, oh, I was having blood when I was peeing, like and I know it was from the antibiotics. I didn't do anything else. No, no, that's not possible. No, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so taking a step further, I went into the Akashic records, and I also channeled, and I got that. And somebody else also did a reading on me that I was practicing together with. And they were shown like my stomach and how the antibiotics weakened my stomach lining, and that I needed to like eat more and listen to myself to like make sure I take something like something more like what's the word? More volume to it or something like that, so that like the antibiotic was so strong that it was actually thinning the lining in my stomach, which then, and I used to take a lot of aspirins, which weakened my stomach lining already. Then the antibiotics weakened it even more. And they said basically my guides came in and said that you needed to eat more when you were taking it. And that sometimes it's not a bad thing to take,
Yeah.
but I didn't listen at the time when I was being told by my intuition. And I knew right away. I knew it. I knew it right away. Like a couple days later, I knew that that's what it was. And I knew I started seeing like the mirror of me bouncing back and forth. And that was another lesson that I learned, like a huge lesson. Like when you start getting that, and you're like, that's doubt, you're doubting and you're questioning, and you're like, should I do it? No, maybe not. Should I do it? Maybe not. And then you finally end up doing it. And then I'm like, damn it. Why didn't I listen?
Yeah, there has not been a time I don't think that I've ignored it, and there hasn't been something like this was a
Uh,
pretty very timely for today's
yeah.
call. It's also very strong for me, but there's been so many where I just kind of like, you know, not especially wanting to go to a party, for
Yeah. Yeah.
example,
Yeah.
and that's how I actually picked up this germ that I've been fighting for so long. As somebody at that party said, "Don't touch me, I'm contagious. I'm here at a dinner party, but I hope you don't catch what I've got."
Oh,
And there
wow.
again, it was like, "Can I just leave now?" You know, like, you know, but it was a surprise party and blah, 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 you know, like, so
Uh,
there was reasons why, again, it was like, okay, I guess this is why I didn't want to come. And the next day I woke up and I was spent the next 3 weeks sick from that.
oh, you
So,
just like that's so like eye-opening what you like.
yeah, because I'm normally very healthy, you know. So again, it's like your intuition just goes, yeah, maybe that's not such a great idea for you.
Because
Maybe it's
it's
not,
steps
you
ahead.
know,
Your
you
higher self
want
is
it,
like
but
steps ahead, it's like steps ahead. It already knows steps ahead what, and like it's already it's giving you that guidance to help you so that you don't end up in that situation. Or even if it's like it could be as simple as you being told by your intuition not to turn down a certain street, and then you don't listen and you
yeah,
do it anyway, and then there's this huge backup and you're just sitting there for hours or whatever, because I've seen that happen before. But now I'm so much more in tune, and I listen. I'm like, should I go down that road? Like I'm already getting the guidance and everything, and then I'm like, no, you know what, I'm going to go down this one. I heard that first. I heard the guidance. It already told me. It's like but it's interesting how you said it, and literally then people wonder why they're in the situations they're in, only because they didn't listen when they were
yeah.
or it
And it does come, you know, and I think especially people, those of us who are drawn to, you know, our spirituality, we're sensitive people, we're energetically sensitive, and we're usually empaths, and we're so aware of other people, of the feelings and reactions of the people around us, that can take, that can be take on more of an importance than really I think it should, because in a healthy relationship, which I have, but this behavior was learned when I was in one for 30 years, it was not, and so it was pattern coming up. It's like, well, he wants to do it, therefore I should do it, regardless of whether my feelings,
yeah,
so that's old stuff, right? And but it's true. I think most of us do have that. We just don't want to offend anybody or upset anybody. We want to please people. And I really do feel like we're moving out of that into the time where I'm like, if you're in a relationship with somebody, you honor their feelings, and us, you're not attached to the hip. My not going isn't going to prevent them. It
yeah,
shouldn't,
yeah.
and vice versa, so I mean, yeah, so I think it's really time to and maybe January, like what a great start to 2024, right? I saw a meme somewhere where somebody said, yeah, January was a test month. The new year will start February 1st. It was kind of like the trial or whatever. It's like, yeah. So I'm going to
And
start my new year over in
like
February.
the fact that you're strengthening the muscle every time you listen, and
Yeah,
a lot of people have suppressed that or ignored it, so then it's non-existent. And then,
yeah,
and then so like I feel like we're being forced and into like the burning fire, so to speak, because like
trial by fire.
yeah, and that's why I was seeing it exactly like,
Evidence.
because it's like as we go forward, we're gonna have to trust and believe in the intuition more and more, because we're being having to lean on that. Like there's no going outside of ourselves anymore for these answers. And so it's
Yeah.
becoming harder and harder to say the least, to do that, to rely on someone else to guide you. It's just like, you know,
Yeah, because where's the truth? Like we don't know what
yes,
we're
Yeah.
I think everybody who's watching this knows that we can't trust what's on mainstream,
No, no, no.
news. That's all bought and paid for. So unless you're watching, I don't know, Rebel or Druthers or or getting your information from somewhere in another country. Um, I'm in Canada, you're in the States, but we
Yeah.
both have similar governments right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, so getting the truth is it's really you have to discern for yourself because even
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
other people, they're showing. I think everybody kind of has they have what they want to convey too. You still have to use your discernment. You still have to like really check in and how does this feel like it's true for me?
Yep.
Like it's my truth. If it feels off for any reason, then it's not fully your truth. If you're getting those little inner red flags going up or you know, and by the same token, if you're feeling something or you're getting a download is something from your angels or your guides, you will usually get a lot of people call truth bumps. You just get
Yeah.
goosebumps. You just feel
Yeah.
it's like, that happens to me all the time. I'll be talking, it's like, wow, I just got goosebumps. And for me, that confirms that this is important to be saying to this person. And it's also important to pay attention to for my own self. It's like, and it's just like a visceral feeling that this is true. And I need to listen to this.
I love the way you describe that. Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, I right away that's a sign for me too. Like of hey, wait a minute. Like this resonates, Like I feel that
Yeah.
deeply through the chills and the truth bumps, what you call it. Yeah, I totally agree. That's wow. Wow, this has been amazing. I mean, like
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way. Like these situations that we find ourselves in are situations to show us when we're not listening to our inner guidance and when we are, because it's always guiding us and our higher self is always guiding us. And wow, yeah, that's like a whole new, yeah, I love that. I mean, that's profound.
Yeah. Yeah. And really like and with my food reaction, the sensitivity was just something that was put in the tartar sauce. Um, the only thing that makes me react like that is jalapenos. So I know that they were in there, it was in there somewhere, but I only need even like such a small amount and it sets everything in motion, so to speak. And so why did I put some on my fish without asking? Especially because normally I don't even eat that. So I was kind of looking at all these things that were like, why this and not that? Why this and not like
Yeah,
even that I sat there in the first place, my thought was like, my partner is very soft voice and it was a busy place. And often we do sit side by side. So in my head, I was almost like, oh, I'll just come and sit by you, but I didn't. And I was going to take my coat, put it beside me in the empty chair beside me, but I didn't. And so, so it's all these little things that make you go like, what's really
yeah,
going on here? Like what is, you know, but I also do feel like my angels are always with me and trying to, circumvent situations. If there's nothing that they can do, they can still, like you get an urge at one point of years ago too on the 401 driving from the 401 toward Ottawa. And I was in the left lane because I'm a fast driver. And not that I always stay in the left lane, but I just happened to be still in there after passing somebody. And I just heard, just like I did with the other car story, I just heard this get over, get in the other lane, like just like not as strict and not as, but definitely like, oh, okay, like now, do it now, so I did. And I got over in the other lane and I ended up blowing a tire. And if I'd been in the left hand, the passing lane,
oh
that
yeah,
could have been a lot more of a problem than being in the right hand lane where I could just pull over and get off the road and, you know, deal with it. And so there again was a sign of like, follow the intuition.
yep,
Things go well for you. I mean, it didn't stop my tire from blowing, but it made sure that I was going to be safe, you
yeah,
know, because the tire would have been on the side of like it was on the right hand side. So if
yep,
I was in the left lane, the blowout of my rear right tire, that's not good, like that. Then
uh-huh.
everybody's kind of, but here I was like over toward so it was still. So it's, yeah, I think I'd really advocate for listening to your intuition and responding and just like, you don't know what it might be. Like it
Oh,
wasn't very far up that happened. You know, it was probably within a couple of miles, you know, 2, 3 miles that I got over and the tire blew. So yeah, so I think that's pretty much what I wanted to share today. It's
love
funny,
it.
you know, I like that we don't have it like a definite topic, but it's just kind of like this came up for both of us to pay attention to our intuition. So I think that was really great that
This
we
was a
did that. And
powerful episode. I
um,
loved it. I loved all the examples. I loved everything. This was a powerful episode. I mean, I got so much insight just in this episode alone, you know? Like, wow. I thought it was phenomenal. So, I don't know if you
yeah.
have more you want to add or you want to go into the meditation or
I would love to do a meditation, but I would just like to say that this kind of underscores for me, like I always say, like I'm a teacher, but I'm also a student of spirituality, and I feel like I probably I always will be. I don't know anybody who, you know, who would just say, no, I'm a teacher. I've learned everything there is to learn, because I don't think they're out there at all. But yeah, so it's just to be always these are the little just the little nudges and the little, you know,
yeah,
and each time you listen, like you say, you get stronger, or every time you're like, I didn't listen, I should have. That's still having the purpose of strengthening that muscle, because I'm now like giving it that much more weight, which I
getting that
think is really important.
awareness. Yeah,
Yeah.
the awareness. Yeah, yeah, totally. I totally agree. There's always a way to get something from it, regardless whether it turned out like what turned out for you. Because now you're like, oh, wait a minute,
Yeah. You
gonna,
look for the lesson.
I'm
That's the difference.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna listen next time. Like
Yeah.
now, yeah,
Yeah.
now,
And on that note, we did, yeah. And regarding that situation, that we did sit and craft a letter to the owner. So the owners weren't there that night. So it was just a matter of like, I didn't want to rock the boat for whatever reason, because I wanted to let the actual owner. So we sat and wrote a very nice letter, but also very like, this is what happened, and it could have been very different outcome. And just to let them know that it was a hazardous situation and it could have been really bad, so that they know. So because it's
yeah,
very easy to like, okay, let's do all of our candles, fake candles, except maybe the one on the table, you know, or something where people can see it and they know it's there. But just so I felt that it was my responsibility to make sure that they were aware of that, of the hazard, you know, like, so anyway, so we did that, but it was all very nicely, very, you know, consciously being mindful of how it would be received, but also wanting them to know, like, yeah, could have been really bad.
both nice.
So just for them to be aware of, as a new restaurant, for them to be aware of that kind of thing could happen. And so they needed to
Most
know.
definitely when you
So
mix
anyway, so
when you're mixing it with like fake ones and then one real one, yeah, I would have to agree with you. It's definitely something.
yeah, let's make sure that they're well enough out of the way. I mean, this was a smallish place, and obviously like it would have been probably like where this was, only over here, you know, so pretty had, you know, like pretty close there. Only this was like on the like a windowsill. But anyways, close enough that it did catch the collar and burn that like big hole
I'm
in it.
glad you're okay now, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I just wanted to bring that full circle to be aware that like, so I, you know, I didn't want that to happen to some little 4-year-old who might just throw their coat over, and you
exactly.
never know, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Anyway, so, and taking responsibility, because that's really important too, like, you know.
yeah.
So yeah, I'd love to lead us through a meditation. So if we just want to get comfortable and just plant your feet right on the floor if you're able. And I love just this sort of the visual I get when I think about plugging my feet in, like I'm plugging a cord into the wall, you know, electrical cord. Plug your feet right into the earth. And let's just take 3 deep breaths, and we're going to breathe in for 3 and hold for 3 and release, and just guiding ourselves down into our heart center. I'm going to use this beautiful amethyst today.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Oh, I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah, it's beautiful. It feels very powerful. So I'm going to keep this right at my heart center. And so just dropping down into your heart center and continuing to breathe naturally deep, fluid breaths. And let's just visualize a beautiful white light coming down from the ceiling, down through the crown chakra at the top of your head. And let it flow down, passing through your third eye chakra, your throat, heart, your solar chakra, sacral, and down to your root chakra, and just continue to let this beautiful white light flow down your legs, all the way down to your toes. And you can visualize roots growing down through your feet all the way down, or from your root chakra if you prefer, growing those roots down to the core, the center of the earth, down through all the crystals. Wrap those roots around the core, the center of the earth. And now just begin to draw up all that goodness. So we're connected with Gaia, with Mother Earth, sending all our love down. And now just beginning to draw up all that goodness all the way back up through the crystals, bringing all their beautiful powers and beautiful healing all the way up through our feet, through your roots, all the way up into your root chakra, your sacral, solar, heart, throat, third eye, and all the way back up to your crown chakra, and just let it come up all the way up and out like a fountain top at the top of your head, and let it shower and cleanse your body. Just releasing anything from your aura that does not serve you. Any tensions, any worries, any doubts, any angers, any fears, any thought forms that are not serving you, any stale, old, used up beliefs, let them all go. So just allowing this beautiful light shower to cleanse you, to restore you, to heal you, allowing it to adjust your personal frequency, to raise your vibration. And allowing this beautiful light to bathe every cell in your body with pure light, pure love, pure energy, and pure source. Knowing that you are that which you believe God to be. It is you. It is me. It is all of us. Because there is no us and them. There is only we. We are one. We are one. So as we settle into our heart center, let us visualize that we are holding the world in our hands, most lovingly, sending as much love that's in our hearts. And let us extend a metta meditation. Metta is Sanskrit for loving kindness. And it goes like this. I invite you to join in. Let's begin with ourselves. May I be safe. Sorry. Daren, if you would like to echo me with this, it sounded be my voice. It sounded so nice. May I be safe.
Be safe.
May I be well.
May I be well.
May I be peaceful.
May I be peaceful.
May I be joyful.
May I be joyful.
May I thrive and prosper.
I thrive and prosper.
So feeling that within your own self, feeling the truth of these words, feeling the love, filling yourself up, feeling how good that feels. And now let's extend this out to our entire human family. May all beings be safe.
May all beings be safe.
May all beings be well.
May all beings be well.
May everyone be peaceful.
May everyone be peaceful.
May everyone be joyful.
Everyone be joyful.
May everyone thrive and prosper.
Everyone thrive and prosper.
And we send this out to Mother Gaia, to Grandmother Moon, Grandfather Sun, to the crawlers and to the plant kingdom and the mineral kingdom and the crawlers and the walkers and the flyers and all of us. And if we just visualize our beautiful home planet, this beautiful, beautiful vacation destination that we're so blessed to live upon. We really did win the lottery to be able to come here
Oh, yeah.
and add our consciousness to the consciousness of all. So just seeing all clean water, clean air, happy animals, happy humans, beautiful trees, seeing everything in its most highest light that we could possibly conceive of, and sending it so much love, so much love.
So much love.
As we know that as we hold this image in our mind's eye, as above, so below, we are creating it in our outer world. So this, to do this is so important. So just send that love and send those blessings.
Mm.
Beautiful. And then just slowly calling your awareness back. Bring your hands to prayer at your heart or up to your third eye. Gathering your power back, wiggling fingers, wiggling toes, bringing your awareness back to the present moment, but keeping that feeling of love in your heart. And maybe challenge yourself today to see how long you can hold this peaceful state of mind and this open, loving heart that you have just created, not only for yourself, but for everyone as it ripples out from you into infinity. And I thank you all for participating, and I big love everybody. And namaste.
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 Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for another amazing episode of
You too.
conversations. It was phenomenal.
Thank you. It's always fun to talk with you, Daren. We never seem to run out of anything to,
Um,
we have
uh,
lots to share. So, and as always, we invite viewers, if there's something in particular you would like us to discuss, just let us know in the comments below. We would love to hear from you.
Sounds good. Yeah, I love that. I love it. And subscribe, share, comment, and like.
Yes. Yep. Oh, what
See you in
he
the next
said.
one.
Well, have a beautiful day, everybody. Thanks so much for watching.
Thank
Till
you.
next week.
Till next week.